Gentlemen, first of all, we're gonna warm up with the Battle of Trafalgar, 11 minutes long. I actually don't know anything about this battle. Like I said yesterday, I know nothing about the period we're talking about here, the Napoleonic period. Lichtenberg is out, the favorite is out. I want to really quick see a video about the Battle of Trafalgar, because apparently this is worth a movie. There was like a general, an admiral, who was like really sick. He was like a fucking alpha male. I want to check that, and then we have the second part of Oversimplified. Clever to make 2 parts by him to make more money. Totally clever. Nelson's flagship from Trafalgar, the HMS Victory, is still part of the Royal Navy, and you can visit it and walk around it. Shut up. HMS Victory. Holy shit, you can still check that out? Wow. That's the real ship that was in the real Battle of Trafalgar? That is so sick. That's in Portsmouth. Wow. That's where I am a bit nerdy. That's fucking so cool. Look how big that is. It's obviously restored, you can see that, but that is secondly the flagship of the first sea lord of the Royal Navy. Holy crap, man. I've been on it. And there's like a real modern battleship behind. Wow. That shit like this is really impressive, man. Like, imagine you walk on that thing. You walk on a thing that was around 200 years ago in a real battle. That is so cool. I'm a bit nerdy about that shit. That's fucking sick, man. What I really like about traveling, where I have a lot of respect, is when a place or thing has a lot of history inside of it. Right? Let's say someone designs the best ship of all times and you can watch it. I don't care so much. But let's say there's a ship that's 300 years old and has seen a lot. Then, like, it's such a privilege even to go on that ship or place or whatever and feel its history. There has been hundreds and thousands of humans seeing this. Very, very impressive, man. Very impressive. I had that the most. I will never forget, man, when you go to concentration camps and you go to the showers, man. That shit is fucking... That does something with you, man. In German school, you have to go to concentration camps once. It's literally a law. And they bring you to the showers and you can see the nail marks on the walls. And shit, man, that shit is... The human brain can't even comprehend that shit. To you, it's just a room, but in a weird way, you feel something fucking happened to you a while ago, man. And it's so fucking... Such a weird feeling, man. That was a very bad example, though. Very
Napoleon Bonaparte kept the whole of Europe in fear for more than a decade. And although the Napoleonic Wars were predominantly a land conflict...
Where does it come from? Why do 1800 ships look so cool? I could hang 10 oil pictures of ships like this. You know, these, pictures, like in a doctor's office, of these ships? Why are they so appealing? I don't want a picture of tanks on my wall, but a picture of fucking ships, man?
Many of his political and military decisions were informed by the dominance of the British fleet at sea and the naval actions that were fought earlier in the war.
Really sick.
Among them was the last great sea battle fought under sail, the Battle of Trafalgar.
It's the last big sea battle under sails. Oh, I'm learning so much again. Thank you, Patchface, my dude. Thank you.
French victories.
I have to put chat on. Sorry. I have to put chat on. Bubble boy.
Marengo and Hohenlinden in 1800 forced Austria to sue for a separate peace, leaving the United Kingdom as the leading member of the Second Coalition.
Basically, no one could fight Britain after this
forces dominated on land, so the only way for the United Kingdom to continue the war was via naval actions. The British Navy was blockading France from receiving foreign goods, and in turn forced Prussia, Russia, Denmark and Sweden to ally against Britain to defend the trading routes. While the Russian Navy was in its winter harbours, the British attacked Copenhagen in 1801 and forced Denmark to leave the alliance. When the Russian...
Wait. Wasn't Russia and Denmark against Napoleon? So why would the UK attack Denmark? I'm a bit lost. Teacher, help, teacher. Why is the UK attacking Denmark? Is Denmark with Napoleon? It was in the video. They had ships. They attacked Denmark just because they had ships? Like there was no real justification? What? Because they had a fleet. Is that your answer? They had a fleet, so they have to die. They they blockaded the UK. Denmark blockaded the
Tsar
UK.
Paul I died a month later. His heir...
Why would Denmark blockade the UK? That's suicide. Why would you do that? I don't believe you. Denmark issued an embargo on the UK. That's bullshit. Tommy is so dumb. Well, explain it, you fucking... Wait. This guy's gonna get banned. Did he just say? Oh, you didn't. Well, I'm gonna ban Red Monkey. There you go, permaban. I don't need you. Thank you, Ace Cat. Napoleon said no one can trade with Britain. Go back 20 seconds.
And forced Denmark to leave the alliance. When the Russian Tsar Paul I...
Yes, I didn't pay attention yesterday. That's why I'm asking you, you fuckers. Imagine you will be a fucking teacher and your pupil has a question about something and you're like, we talked about it yesterday, you dumb fucking cunt, you're homeless now, fuck you, I'm not gonna tell you. Imagine asking for help from chat for once. Imagine asking to help me for a second, explain it to me. No, you gotta be like, oh, Tommy, oh. You know what? Fuck you. I'm not asking again. I'm not asking again.
Later, his heir, Alexander I, was more lenient towards the United Kingdom, and the anti-British Union ceased to exist. France had its share of problems. One of its colonies...
Look at the beautiful water. What is that? God, that's beautiful. What's north of Cuba? This is the Antilles, right? Antilles? Don't ask chat, though.
Haiti had revolted in 1791. Napoleon decided to send an expeditionary...
That's the Bahamas. Isn't this the Bahamas? No, that's something else. No. That's Bermuda. Yeah, Bermuda, and that's Bahamas. Okay.
Forced to restore
Thank you,
French
Chad. Wow, wasn't so hard, huh?
And
yeah, Red Monkey, you can't say anything because you're permanent,
in
bitch.
late
Fuck
1801. The British fleet chased the expedition across the Atlantic Ocean. The island was blockaded, and the French received no supplies or reinforcements.
Yeah, right.
It was clear that neither side could strike the final blow, and a peace treaty was signed in March of 1802 at Amiens. The British promised to return the French colonies and leave Malta and Egypt, while Napoleon had to rescind control of Naples and the Papal States. For the first time in a decade, Europe was at peace. Napoleon sent a new expedition to Haiti.
England closed all trade routes to France. This made Denmark, Sweden, Russia, and Prussia angry. They threatened England. England made a preventive war against the largest fleet, which was Denmark's. Wandering player, that's a VIP. VIP, the wandering player. There you go. That was quick and easy explanation.
But it failed.
He didn't say, Tommy, you're dumb, you're so retarded. He just fucking answered like a normal human being.
Holding on to the colonies proved to be extremely difficult, so in April of 1803, the vast territory of Louisiana was sold to the United States. The Haitian expedition, and the fact that Napoleon was asserting control over Switzerland, was worrisome for the United Kingdom. On the other hand, the French demands for Britain to leave Malta and Egypt were left unheeded. Napoleon started preparing a new force at Boulogne to invade the British Isles, but it was the United Kingdom who declared the war that would be later known as the War of the Third Coalition in May of 1803. Napoleon was not expecting the renewal of hostilities, and his fleet was scattered across various harbours, with 21 ships of the line in Brest, 12 in Toulon, and 9 more in the Atlantic.
It's even not that
the
big,
superior
man.
British Navy blockaded both ports.
Teresa, thank you, wandering player.
Napoleon developed a plan in the summer of 1804. One of his fleets needed to break the blockade,
what? He literally
move
just
into the open.
What do you mean, wandering dicker? He literally just... Leute, maybe we need to take 13 days apart from each other. Maybe we need that. He just don't copy paste. I don't give a fuck. I read him
then
first.
Attack the part of the English Navy blockading another harbour and unite with the portion of the French fleet stationed there. That would have allowed the French to get the army at Boulogne across the English Channel. The situation...
I don't care if it was copied. It was the right answer at the right time when I looked at chat.
Changed for the better for the French in October when the British sunk some Spanish vessels. This provoked Spain to declare war on the United Kingdom and ally itself to France in December. Napoleon now had the numbers to implement his plan.
It's actually so epic, man. Your United Kingdom and now France and Spain united against you. That must be very, very scary. In history, you and me, we already know what already happened. We know UK is gonna win. But at that point in time, you must have been so scared. You must have been like, oh fuck, we're kind of in trouble, man. We gotta do something here.
In late March of 1805, the French commander at Toulon, Vice Admiral Pierre Villeneuve, ordered his fleet to sail out. He managed to evade the loose blockade set by British commander Vice Admiral Horatio Nelson. It seems that the British commanders were sure that Napoleon would try to land a force in Italy, so the majority of Nelson's vessels were around Sardinia. However, Villeneuve was implementing Napoleon's plan. He passed the Straits of Gibraltar in early April, was joined by some Spanish ships, and continued towards the Caribbean. Nelson got this intelligence only in late April and started his pursuit across the Atlantic. The French arrived at the Caribbean Sea Basin in May.
Dude, that is really some Pirates of the Caribbean shit. I always wonder, imagine you're on these ships, you're a random guy on this ship, it's your first time, and the admiral says, yo boy, we're going to Caribbean. I always want to think about that a bit. What must it have felt like for a young man being on the ship, taking the biggest trip of his life into paradise? First time ever he sees the blue water and the beauty of it.
And
must have been mind-blowing,
outposts. Nelson reached the area in June, but was still one step behind Villeneuve.
Unimaginable trips like that.
Despite that, the French weren't able to inflict much damage to the local British colonies and started moving back to Europe, arriving in the second half of July.
Like they must have
a
been
smaller
gone
British
for months,
fleet under Vice Admiral Calder was ordered to stop Villeneuve, but the subsequent battle near Cape Finisterre was indecisive. Still, this encounter prevented the French from reaching Brest to lift the blockade, and they returned to Cadiz. At the same time, Austria and Russia joined the Third Coalition, and Napoleon had to march his army stationed in Boulogne to the east, which meant...
I'm not saying it's a good life. I know that there's a lot of horrors with it. I know that. I always say, I wonder what that experience must have felt like. I'm not saying it's probably fucking amazing.
That the invasion of the British Isles was postponed. Nelson was appointed the overall commander of the Royal Navy, and as the allied French-Spanish Armada concentrated in Cadiz, he sent the majority of his fleet off the coast of France.
Shit, someone's getting circled from behind. This is like a mean Bannerlord when like a big army hunts you and you misclick and they catch you.
By the end of September, he joined the fleet personally. Villeneuve received an order from Napoleon to move towards Italy, but ignored it. On the 18th of October, the French commander received a new order to stay in Cadiz and wait for his replacement. Once again, the order was neglected, and the Allied fleet went to sea on the 20th.
Well, that's how you get fucked.
On the 21st, Villeneuve's navy was getting close to the Straits of Gibraltar. Nelson allowed the French to move as far away from Cadiz as possible to prevent them from retreating. However, by dawn the British vessels were detected. Villeneuve didn't expect Nelson's navy to be so strong, so he ordered his ships back to the harbour. This manoeuvre failed due to lack of training, and the Allied fleet ended up with an incoherent line. The usual tactic of the age was to approach a foe and enter a shooting match, so the fate of the battle was decided by the quality of the ships, crew training, and sheer luck.
You know what this... I'm sorry if I pause. I'm reacting though. If I don't pause, it's kind of scammy. You know what this makes me feel, chat? And a lot of people in chat will agree. I am craving a game like this again. Where you have an 1800s ship, you have your own crew, you have adventures, you have battles. I'm craving a game like this, man. Hasn't been around for a while. I think Skull and Bones is coming this year or next year. But that's about it. I know Sea of Thieves is very... People love that game, but...
Instead, Nelson divided his fleet into two halves to attack the Allies'
A new
broadside.
game! A new one!
He was personally leading the Northern Group that had 13 ships of the line, with his flagship Victory in front, while Vice Admiral Collingwood's squadron of 14 ships of the line was to the south, led by the flagship Royal Sovereign. By midday...
Black Flag is a game though you can revisit one day. It's so fucking good you could... And I never finished it.
The distance...
Fuck, chat, you wanna fucking do Black Flag one day?
Oh. Between the two navies was just 5
Black
kilometers.
Flag with chat, that'd be fucking...
They were off the coast of Cape Trafalgar,
I don't know if that will
and Nelson issued his famous order.
That sounds
England expects that every man will do his duty.
I don't know,
Royal
man. I don't
Sovereign
know.
was recently repaired and was faster than
Black
most
Flag is
ships,
insane,
so the wind moved it dangerously close to the enemy line, while the other ships in the squadron were lagging behind. At 12:20, Royal Sovereign fired the first volley upon San...
At 12:13. So is there a guy on these ships that writes everything down for history? Is there people that write this down? Probably, right? Like historians or some shit? Like, that's really interesting. There's like
and
maesters.
Forgo, and these vessels shot back.
Imagine what these guys must have
Collingwood's
seen,
flagship
man.
was attacked by 4 enemy ships. Only 15 minutes later, Belle-Île arrived and covered the right
Imagine how
board of
that
Royal
must have looked
Sovereign.
like, man. It's
More English
unimaginable
vessels
for our
moved into the
brains.
fray and tried to cut the Allied line,
That
but
must have been a
Collingwood
sight,
was
dude.
outnumbered at the initial point of contact. Still, the positioning of the Allied Navy didn't allow its second-line ships to assist.
There was
and by
painters and tiny
1400,
boats that
the
painted
majority
the
of the
battle as it
first-line
happens.
vessels were either sunk or surrendered.
Thank you, Sunkiller.
To the north, Nelson's squadron got close to the enemy line by 12:20, but the wind was calming, and that made Nelson's ships a very slow target. His refusal to fight using traditional line tactics was detrimental at this
The
point
best
of the battle,
8-time ship
as
game
none
ever
of
was
his
Pirates of
ships
the
were
Caribbean.
able to shoot,
It's very
while
old,
the
the
enemy
losers will
was
not know
sending
it.
volley after volley.
But there was a game called Pirates of the Caribbean. I have to talk about it. It was in no way, shape, or form about the movie Pirates of the Caribbean. You were a random ass side character that is not legendary, and you had to make a name for yourself in the Caribbean. The Black Pearl stuff existed, but that game was so good. So good. Because it was just sandbox. You're just a random dude. It was really hard. And you just make your own story. It was so good, man.
Despite casualties, the flagship Victory was moving forward. Nelson ordered a fake maneuver to make the enemy think that his ships would form up in a line. But instead, he then ordered one more turn, and Victory ended up
I like
between
that.
the
In that
French
game, you weren't the
flagship
hero. You weren't like the big
and the smaller
savior. You were just a
Redoutable.
random dude
This
making
allowed
a career in
Nelson's
the
ship
Caribbean.
to use the guns on both sides. The French ships needed to turn, and Victory used that to take Bocanteur out of the game.
Dude, the ship that you can see in real life right now in Portsmouth, England, did that? That is so cool. You can literally visit this ship right now in real life.
However, Victory
did
itself
that.
was taking
That
massive
is so
damage
sick.
from Redoutable. The French ship was also using sharpshooters, and at 13:15, one of their shots wounded
Hostile
Nelson.
and tackle, they probably repaired
It was clear that this
and
wound
restored
was
it
deadly.
over the years.
Redoutable's crew attempted to board Victory, but the British managed to stop them. Victory was soon reinforced by Temeraire, which moved across Redoutable's left board and started shooting. And by 14:20, Redoutable was captured by the crew of Temeraire. To the north, British Neptune entered into a battle with Spanish
That is so
Santissima
fucking
Trinidad
epic, man.
and
Jesus,
managed
make a
to
movie
take it
about
out of
this
the
with
fight.
Russell Crowe, some shit.
By 1400, it was becoming clear for Villeneuve that he was losing the battle, and he ordered the northern portion of his line to move to the southwest and collapse on the British fleet. However, the captains of these ships failed to see
the
the
real-life
signal,
sails are still in
and
the
this
museum.
became the final mistake of the Allied fleet. Villeneuve's Bocanteur was in no shape to continue fighting, and soon he surrendered. By the time the remaining 10 Allied ships started their move to assist, most of the vessels in the centre were either sunk or captured. Collingwood took overall command of the British Navy and ordered Nelson's squadron to intercept the French
Just
reinforcements.
leaving.
The remaining
Damn.
Allied ships decided to retreat. It was a
you, bro.
complete victory, with the British capturing 18 enemy ships.
Damn.
Nelson passed away as soon as he heard the news of the victory.
If that isn't worth a fucking movie
The French
with, like, I
defeat
don't
at
know, Ryan
Trafalgar
Gosling or some
confirmed
shit.
the naval dominance of the United Kingdom,
last scene he
and
dies
meant that
and you're like,
Napoleon
sad.
would not be able to invade Britain. But while the battle was raging at sea, the Emperor's Grand Army was moving into Germany against the Allied Austrian and Russian armies. Thank you for watching our video on the Battle of Trafalgar.
Damn.
The second
How did
video
he
in
die,
this
though?
series
What,
that will
what an
cover
interesting character, man. Horatio Nelson. Wait, I want to Wikipedia. Horatio Nelson. What a... That guy is worth a fucking movie. How exactly did he die? They must have written that down. Wounding and death. Shortly after 1 p.m. Dude, they know the times. Hardy realized that Nelson was not by his side. He turned to see Nelson kneeling on the deck, supporting himself with his hand before falling onto his side. Hardy rushed to him, at which point Nelson smiled. Nelson was shot on deck in a fight. Dude, that must have been a crazy day. Hardy, I do believe they have done it at last. My backbone is shot through. He had been hit by a marksman from Redoubtable, firing at a range of 15 meters. Good shot, man. The bullet had entered his left shoulder, passed through his spine at the 6th and 7th thoracic vertebrae, and lodged 2 inches below his right shoulder blade in the muscles of his back. It's crazy how they know that stuff. Nelson was carried below by Sergeant Major of Marines Robert Adair and 2 seamen. As he was being carried down, he asked them to pause while he gave some advice to a midshipman on the handling of the tiller. He then draped a handkerchief over his face to avoid causing alarm amongst the crew. What a mad lad! He was taken to the surgeon William Beatty, telling him that, "You can't do nothing for me, I have but short time to live, my back is shot through." Nelson was made comfortable, fanned, and brought lemonade and watered wine to drink after he complained of feeling hot and thirsty. He asked several times to see Hardy, who was on deck supervising the battle, and asked Beatty to remember him to Emma, his daughter and friends. You have to make a movie of this. Are you kidding me? Hardy came below deck to see Nelson just after 2:30 and informed him that a number of enemy ships had surrendered. Nelson told him that he was sure to die and begged him to pass his possessions to Emma. With Nelson at this point, were the Capellan, Alexander Scott, the pursuer Walter Burke, Nelson Stewart, Chevalier, and Beatty. Nelson featured that a gale was blowing up, instructed Hardy to be sure to anchor. After reminding him to take care of poor Lady Hamilton, Nelson said, "Kiss me, Hardy." Beatty recorded that Hardy knelt and kissed Nelson on the cheek. Hashtag no homo. He then stood for a minute or two before kissing him on the forehead. Nelson asked, "Who is that?" And on hearing that it was Hardy, he replied, "God bless you, Hardy." He was losing consciousness. By now very weak, Nelson continued to murmur instructions to Burke and Scott. Fan, rub, drink. Beatty heard Nelson murmur, "Thank God I have done my duty," and when he returned, Nelson's voice had faded and his pulse was very weak. He looked up as Beatty took his pulse, then closed his eyes. Scott, who remained by Nelson as he died, recorded his last words, "God and my country." Nelson died at 4:30, 3 hours after he had been shot. You never know how much this is true, right? Could be glorification for heroism, but... Damn. I fucking love pictures like this, man. They're fucking epic, man. Damn. Death of Nelson in the House of Parliaments in London. Damn. Very interesting. Very interesting. Sea Legend is in development from the same guys who did Naval Action Game Labs. King George cried after he heard the news. King George, isn't that the guy who got mad after losing America? Please say paintings. Those are not pictures. Sorry. You can still listen to Flagship. Yeah, we talked about that. Play CK3, that's right. Random right now. Doesn't this make you want to play a fucking ship game? This is a picture of his funeral. A painting. Damn. Again, I feel like in real life it was probably much less. I think we have to always imagine that these paintings are always exaggerated for heroism purposes and shit. Damn. What a fucking mad lad.